Hello everybody, welcome back. This is going to be another game of Total War Warhammer. I'm the Strategy Professor. So let's go ahead and see. See if he'll go for this. I've been wanting this matchup all day, and I haven't seen it. Because I want to play a Bretonnian game, and I think they're really good against Vampire Counts. We shall see. But I know a lot of viewers may not necessarily like this strategy, and I apologize if you don't. There's lots of other videos. I promise you, I don't use Flying Lords with anyone except for Bretonnia now. So if you don't like Flying Lords, you don't like potions, you know, this might not be for you, and I apologize for that. But I think it's a really good matchup into Vampire Counts. So I'm going to try it out. And I know people want to see some Bretonnian games, because I only have one on my channel, and it had quite a few views, so people want to see Bretonnia. So the goal here, and this is specifically designed for Vampire Counts, is you run a Flying Lord, 3 Flying Lords, double pots on all of them. So pretty standard from last patch. You run a Damsel on a horse, just so you have a little bit of mobility. You can run in and mix it up if you have to. And then you run this for just a little bit of extra magic. And I just run Curse of the Midnight Wind. All the other spells just really aren't that good, honestly. At least I don't think so. That's it. So you're just running her for Curse of the Midnight Wind. You just cast that a lot. It might almost be worth it to run a scroll instead of a horse with her, but we'll see. I just don't want her costing too much. And then you just run a lot of spearmen, ton of men-at-arms. Don't go for halberds, they're not worth the cost, I don't believe. Just a ton of spearmen, men-at-arms are just super cost efficient. The exact same thing, just about for Empire, costs 100 more gold. So the name of the game is efficiency with Bretonnia. These cost 100 gold cheaper. These are very similar to the crossbowmen for Empire, rather. And they are 1/5 cheaper, so you just save a ton of money everywhere. This costs the same amount as Empire Knights, but they're way better. So you just have a massive air game, massive stall game on the ground. These things will just tear up, you know, any kind of large units that they have. They should be able to flank into the back of huge things. You're going to have a massive air game. You're going to have some missile units. I think it's going to be very successful. We'll see. I've played this from the Vampire side quite a lot. I've never played it from the Bretonnian side. And I'll tell you right now, it is very hard. This is a tough matchup for Vampire Counts, at least in my experience. I consider myself to be a pretty good Vampire player. And this is rough. It's rough. And a build like this is rough. You don't have the anti-air. Unless this person comes packing with like just a ton of like air units and flips the script on me, it's going to be hard. And the fact that I have 4 archers to go with it and Pegasus Knights, like, it's gonna be really rough, I think, for this person. We'll see. I mean, maybe I'm overconfident here, but I think it's gonna be a big deal. Alright, so we'll make these our Air Force, Ground Force, Archers. Bretonnians are just a great value. Like, I think they might secretly be the best faction. I haven't tried them into humans yet. I'm afraid of, like, Net of Amantok getting netted and then blown up with the Luminarch. That seems to be the popular meta right now. And that's why I just keep picking Vampire Counts into them, because it's rough. A lot of times I take some huge casualties, but at least I can regenerate through some of that stuff. We'll see. I don't like running a trebuchet or anything. I mean, it can be good to make them come to you. Let's see what they have here. Alright, terror units are good. They do have some bats. Interesting. Okay, Grave Guard. Hounds, okay. Blood Knights. I think we're going to be able to deal with this just fine. Alright, so let's go on in here. Let's wipe out these bats. I think we can force them to come to us and fight up this hill. Just, you know, I almost feel dirty like playing Bretonnia into the Vampire Counts. It's just, it's so nasty. It's just so hard to deal with this Air Force, like. So, I want to just say first off, I sympathize with this guy. matchup is just absolutely brutal. So there's 700 gold right off the bat. He has no way to defend these things. I mean, I guess he could run around with them. Run off the map with them or something. Also, I mean, Empire can run Riflemen. Yeah, that's not going to work. They nerfed that a lot. What's that he's casting over there? I don't even know what that is. Oh, he's casting Death Wind, I guess? I don't really know. Alright, let's just go over to him. Fine. I won't make him suffer through this too long. It'd be nice if I could fight him in these forests, actually. Now, I need to keep the Knights of the Realm away from the Blood Knights, but anything else is fine. I'm just going to wait, and then I'll charge him in the back eventually. I'm not going to jump down on him until I tie him up with stuff first. But yeah, flanking these things in the back just completely wrecks him. I'm just going to let him sit here while he's ready, and then as soon as he engages over here, then I'm going to come over here and mess with him. Let's get over here. Let's go ahead and fire those into that. Alright, let's go ahead and curse the Midnight Wind right here. Alright, let's get back out. Get back out. Go, guys. Okay, they got terrified, I guess. I don't know. But there's Blood Knights. Get out, Pegasus Knights. Let's just go right over here. What, did we get these Blood Knights? No, they're just over here chasing stuff. That's fine, I guess. Actually, right here, right here. Alright, let's get back out here. Alright, the terror's kind of kicking in a little bit. Alright, so a lot of these people were probably rallying back because they were just terrified. Alright, let's back it back out. need to come over here and just crush those things. Let's go like right here just to try to crack through that stuff. I need to get these wraiths. Alright, get those things. Yeah, this matchup is just absolutely brutal for Vampire Counts. Like, it's so hard. Okay, I guess he just quit. So hard for Vampire Counts to win that matchup. Like, he had a pretty good setup. It's just... I don't know. Like, they're just so mobile. Like, the Bretonnians are just so fast. They're so mobile if you micro them correctly. It's so hard to deal with. Because these things are so cheap, and they're so effective. I mean, I had way more units than he was. Like, he's supposed to be the Swarm faction. I'm the one that had the Swarm. I had 20 units. You know, you just cycle charges with the Knights of the Realm. It just absolutely slams everything, and they're so cheap. Like, they hit like something like Reiksguard that would cost like 1,200 gold. These things didn't do a ton, but, I mean, they're cheap. They're just an insurance policy, too. You know, just in case he has something like... I don't know, 3 sets of Vargeist and like a Flying Lord and a Terrorgeist to try to claim the skies from me. It's just super hard to deal with. I mean, you can see my Lords barely scratched. I mean, I still had a potion left on each one of them, I think. So yeah, it caps at 60%, but that's a lot. That's a lot. So I still like running 2 potions because then you can pop one, you know, when you're a third down, pretty much, and not have to worry about getting feared off the maps. You could pop one when you're at a third, and then when you get back down to a third again, you can pop another one. I mean, they just have so much armor. It's so hard to crack through them. And, I mean, these Blood Knights got a lot of kills, and that's cool. I mean, they killed a lot of these things. Blood Knights are very good against Bretonnia, but when you have this many Spearmen, you could see at the end, when they're just, like, completely surrounded by 5 or 6 Spearmen, eventually these things will take them down. They can pin them in. And then if I just cast that Midnight Wind on them, then it lowers their armor, at least by a little bit. What all does that Midnight Wind do again? I'll have to check here in a second. But I know it's a pretty good debuff. And then you just charge cycle them with your Lords. There's not a lot they can do. I mean, the Wraiths are nice because they cause terror, but they have really low morale. And so if you just charge them in the back, then they break pretty easily. Bats were just free. These things actually killed a lot more than I thought they would. They just charged right in and got a lot of those peasant bowmen. But these things are so defensive. All they have to do is just hold their ground. Just, you know, do a little bit of damage to the Blood Knights. They're going to get massacred by Graveguard and all this other stuff, but all they have to do is hold their ground so that these Lords can just keep cycling charges on them, and so that the Knights of the Realm can keep cycling charges on them. And it's just extremely hard to deal with, and the Pegasus Knights can cycle charges on them. So, it's a big deal. I mean, he had a good mix. He had 4 Graveguard, he had some Skeleton Spearmen, so he was ready for cavalry. This is a pretty good melee Lord. He knew not to go into the air, because if he was in the air, he's 100% going to die. Because there's no way he can defend the air game against Bretonnia. Especially now that you can't snipe anymore. Saw that Gaze in the Gash he hit me with did almost no damage. You know, this was good to get back and get to the archers. He knows not to run too many large units because I'm going to have lots of spears. So he just ran 2 large units. And he just said, you know what, I'm going to dominate the infantry game. I don't know. I mean, that's almost an ideal setup against Bretonnia, so props to him. I mean, that was a really good build. It's just, the matchup's a nightmare. Like, it's so heavily favored for Bretonnia. Like, it's really tough to deal with that. I mean, I think Bretonnia can be really good against a lot of different factions. Let me know in the comments, you know, because I know I'm running 2 Flying Lords with pots and or 2 heroes with flying pots and a legendary or just a normal Lord with a flying pot. You know, let me know what you think about this build. I think Bretonnia is super strong. Like I said, I think they might be the closet sleeper of best faction. They're very close. Because I think I like vampire counts. I don't know. Like, I like different factions into different matchups. So I think Bretonnia can be beaten by Empire with Luminarch sniping and a lot of handgunners. And I think Dwarves can probably beat up Bretonnia. Maybe, if they have a lot of Thunders. It's just, it's so hard because when they land and just pick off the Thunders, like, you can run into them with Slayers, but I think if you spread out your Thunders enough and you have enough of them, you can win. But the problem therein, I mean, if they go more Knights of the Realm, like let's say I decided to get rid of 3 Spearmen or something if I was going against Dwarves, which I probably would, because they're not going to have any large units. Just say I get rid of 3 Spearmen and just run 1 more Knights of the Realm. Or maybe 4 Spearmen, get rid of 4 Spearmen, the Pegasus Knights, and just run 5 Knights of the Realm. Then all of a sudden, it's super hard for Dwarves to deal with that. Because how do you stop all that cavalry? The only things you have to stop cavalry are Slayers. I mean, you have charged defense on your units, but let's get real. That's not going to do that much, honestly. And a lot of times you have to move. You have to reposition the Dwarves because you're so slow. If they rotate around you, you don't have time to set your feet a lot of the time. So that charged defense goes to waste because you have to try to be mobile. And they can just run in and do impact damage on Slayers and then just run away. Slayers have nothing to stop them. So, you know, the fact that they have a lot of cavalry and they have a strong air game, really rough news. They're also very good against Greenskins. Because Greenskins, same deal. They don't have a good air game. So, you can really just beat them up and exploit that. But I do think that Empire can be good against them. I think Dwarves can be good against them. And that's about it. Those are 2 factions, but those are 2 very popular factions. So, I don't know. But this is my Bretonnia video. Oh, I meant to look at Midnight Wind here. I think, hopefully that brought me under 600. Let's see. Yes, under 600. Okay, so I've gained about 200 ranks or so today. Quite a lot. I've won 11 games and lost 2, I think. Something like that. I think I started the day with 60 wins. And I know I've only lost 2 games today. Alright, let's see what we have here. Custom battle. I just want to see Curse of the Midnight Wind. Pull it up here real quick. I kind of like having her on the horse. I wasn't sure, but she can actually charge into the back too. I mean, 35 charge bonus is going to give her 59 attack. So she does do some damage. I mean, not a lot, but a little. So you can charge in there with her. Now, if you were to think that they were going to have a lot of air units, you could even get this, potentially. I didn't, but you could. If you thought they were going to do a lot of magic damage, you could get that, and that can be pretty good. I mean, this Lord, not only does he have flying and all kinds, he has a good ability here, like extra 12% damage reduction on everybody. Like, that's armor and magic. That's really good. That's one of the reasons why they're very hard to deal with. Don't these don't have anything super special about them. It's just super mobile and flying, so they help solidify the air game. So you could trade them out if you wanted to for 1 more Knights of the Realm or whatever. I don't like going Grail Knights. Let's just talk real quick 1.3, because this is my first Bretonnian 1.3 video. You don't need trebuchets against the undead because they're not going to be useful. Like if they run a bunch of bats or they run the hounds like we just saw, they're not useful. Usually you want artillery if the enemy's going to have missile infantry that you can constantly throw artillery into. So they're always relevant. If it's just a heavy melee focused faction like the Vampire Counts, you don't need artillery. I like running 1 Pegasus Knight. They're on the expensive side, but they just help solidify your air game in case, you know, once again, they have a bunch of Vargheists or Terrorgeists or just something like that. I think they're pretty good. And they double as a good ground game. I mean, you can charge them behind. 52 charge bonus, pretty nice. So, I mean, they're very similar to Knights of the Realm, right? They have a little bit more HP, less armor, way more weapon strength, actually, but there's only 24 of them. So they're not as good overall, I don't think, as Knights of the Realm for their cost, but they just are a little bit more versatile. These guys are just monsters, you know, pretty standard. I don't go Foe Seeker. It's cute, but it just costs too much. Oh, not that. And just double pots. You guys know this by now. This is a 1.2 build. This guy, I just went over him. I do like going for a Damsel. You don't have any other choices right now. I hope they release a full Bretonnian faction list soon. Because I definitely want to play him in the campaign. I know, I think we have quite a few French viewers here. So I know a lot of people would appreciate Bretonnian. I think it's super cool that the vast majority of my viewership is international. I have lots of European people. I didn't really expect that when I made the channel. I thought it'd just be mostly Americans. I don't know why. I just figured I'm an American broadcasting in America, so it'd probably be mostly Americans. But it's super cool. They were just getting people from all kinds of cultures. Like I've had people, you know, just comment and talk with me. You know, I've had some good conversations with people from other countries. So this is super awesome. I love it. I love international stuff. But anyways, and these spearmen, as I said, these are such a good bargain. Like 26 weapon damage, melee defensive 38, and they get a 14 bonus to large, and they have 7,000 health, 30 armor for 300 gold. Are you kidding me? Let's look at things that cost 300 gold real quick. These. Okay, Goblin Spearman 7,600. 25 weapon damage, 20 melee attack, 26 melee defense, no bonus versus large, no charge bonus, 25 armor, 50 leadership. 160 in a stack though, so there are a lot of them, I suppose. But, I mean, they are a killer bargain. Absolutely insane bargain. These things are. Oh, I can compare them. I didn't realize you could do that from faction to faction. That's cool, because I still technically have the goblins selected from back there, so I can hover and compare this way. These guys have 40 less in the stack. They have 700 less health. They have 5 more armor, a little bit less leadership. Wow, I didn't realize their leadership is that low. But they have more melee attack, way more defense, and they get a plus 12 to large. And I think that 12 is also piercing, not 100%. I don't know if it's all piercing or partially piercing or how that works, but these things are just such an insane bargain. And of course, they have charge defense. They're an insane bargain. These are an insane bargain. I mean, they do 22. They have 160 range, 22 damage. You know, lots of missiles. They don't have a shield or anything, but 400. That's so cheap. That's like the cheapest missile infantry in the game. It's very close. I think it's the same as, it's very close to like Goblin Archers. So yeah, Bretonnia and these things, massive charge bonus. I just want to see how close they are to Empire Knights, actually. I'm sitting here talking about them. They're the same cost. Okay, so they have 120 less health, but they have 9 more speeds. They're a lot faster. They have 2 less melee defense, but they have 8 more charge. So I'll take that any day of the week. That extra 8 charge is massive. So they are similar to Empire Knights, but I think overall I like them a little bit more. So Bretonnia, super fast, great anti-large, great cheap missile infantry, massive air force. You know, they're just super strong. That's all there is to it. They're super strong. I think, like I said, I think it was Dwarf and Empire are the only factions that I think could possibly give them a hard time. I mean, Beastmen might be able to give them a hard time. Maybe Chaos. I don't know the Chaos matchup too much, but the fact they have really strong infantry, maybe they could do it. It's just tough. But thank you very much. Let me know if you want me to do some more Bretonnians. I like doing them. I think they're a lot of fun. I know there's some people that don't like the Potions and Flying Lords combo. I don't like playing against it. I've complained about it multiple times. But if I'm playing it, of course, I don't mind it too much. It is a legitimate tactic. There is counterplay to it. It's better in this patch than it was in the last patch. But I understand the viewership just might not like it. So, but maybe people do like it. I don't know. Just let me know, and I will try to throw in some Bretonnian every now and then. I am still going to play lots of other factions. So if you don't like the, you know, this aspect of it, if you don't like the flying Legion. With pots and all that stuff, then just let me know. I only run 2 paladins. I don't run the full 3. So I'm kind of bargaining with you a little bit, but I understand that some people just may not like it. So That's just how I'm going to run Bretonnia. I think that's how you have to run Bretonnia for them to be effective, because they don't have as good of a ground and pound game as other factions. You know, if I were just to try to fight the vampire count straight up, just melee on melee, they would destroy me. Like, the only thing that Bretonnia has against all other factions is their air force. They have a very strong air force. You really have to leverage that to make them effective. Okay, thank you very much. It's going to be it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out the other episodes. We have a bunch of other factions. Pretty much every faction I'm building a pretty steady repertoire of replays for. I don't have a ton of Chaos. I have like 5 or 6 Chaos games. I think they're probably the most underpowered faction right now. I also don't have a ton of Beastmen, who I think are also pretty underpowered right now. But I do have a lot of most other factions. I don't know why they nerfed the Beastmen Giants. I mean, that's like one of the only things they had going for them, is that their Giants really rocked. So I don't know. That's going to be it for this episode, though. Do check out the rest of the episodes. We also have legendary campaigns. If you want to check those out. Pure campaigns, so we don't abuse the auto-resolve system. We don't assassinate orders on the campaign map. We don't do anything else to give us an exploitative, unfair advantage over the AI. So I think my campaigns are much different from other campaigns. We have in-depth analysis, good, clean fights, and we get a lot of fights because we don't auto-resolve. There's usually at least one great fight every episode, and a lot of times 2. So we just get fights left and right. I mean, the campaign does take longer because of that. But why rush a good thing? You know, if we're having a good time, why not take our time with those campaigns? So, thank you very much. That's going to be it. It's always a pleasure broadcasting for you, and I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful evening.